Americans, what do Europeans have every day that you see as a luxury?
This is only really true for Southern Europe. But cheap wine by the glass, cheap coffee and pastries. Cafes in the US are marketed as very trendy, and if you want a pastry and a coffee you should be ready to pay like $8–10. In most of Italy, Portugal and Spain you can get coffee and a croissant for like €3.
6 weeks vacation, extra pay just for vacation, at least in Germany, government healthcare.
Vacation. Time. I spent time abroad in Italy for school, and there was just so much less of a rush everywhere. Oftentimes the latest person to my classes we were professors. Everyone really took their time, and I didn't really feel the bustle of constantly going somewhere when I was there. I mean, dang, the village my apartment was located shut down for a few hours in the afternoon so the shopkeepers could go have lunch. It was wild.
Guaranteed 4+ weeks of vacation. And the fact that they are encouraged to take the vacation instead of being made to feel that it's a burden to the employer that you go on vacation.
Affordable universities. Our daughter is going to university in Scotland. Our US friends always respond with shock at the luxury of going overseas for school until I tell them it's 1/2 the cost of an equivalent US college. That includes travel expenses.
Readily available and reliable public transportation.
Local bakeries with wonderful fair-priced food readily available on their walking commute.
2+ weeks long vacations. I've had to reach to our contact at HQ in Europe for support and have legit been told to ask someone else because he was going to Switzerland skiing for 3 weeks on holiday. But here I am getting nervous about taking more than 3 days off in a row because I don't want to come back to 500+ emails.
They can travel between different countries in Europe without spending days driving or flying.
Being able to walk around town with a beer is awesome. Public transportation in non-huge cities is also awesome.
Bathroom stalls that actually go to the floor. I don't need to know what shoes the guy taking a next to me has on.
Germany gets 4 weeks vacation starting out. I have to work for my German-based company in the US for 20 years before I can get equal vacation time. They refuse to for correction.
Healthcare, life-work balance, walkable communities, great train service.
Legitimate sick days.
€1 espressos.
Cities designed for walking, and public transit designed to make travel between major cities, countries without a car incredibly seamless. I don't really drive much, and hate having to get around by car, especially while traveling. Being able to walk, bike to most important destinations is great. Being able to travel by train to another city or country without spending the entire ride thinking I should have just rented a car and driven or dealt with the huge delays of airport security instead is even spent a month in Switzerland for work a few years ago, and it's more than that. The roads are designed to make biking as seamless and unobtrusive as possible in a way that would never even really be explored here. I'd never consider biking in the city while I was in Boston, because I don't want to be in the middle of traffic weaving between cars and pedestrians, and I think most people feel the same, and that's why bike lanes are fairly, but it was very different over there in a way that is hard to express unless you have experience biking around an American suburb, even versus a European one. Lots of people I've talked to put it up to, people just bike more in Europe, but no they don't. People bike and walk more in Europe because their cities are just built differently in ways that are hard to.
Healthcare they can afford.
Bread that doesn't have the sugar content of cake. And to be honest, all the unprocessed food.
Schools that teach other languages effectively. That would be so nice. Kind of annoying that we don't teach Spanish from an early age alongside English.
Nearby markets with fresh fruits, vegetables, and bread. Smaller refrigerators result in more frequent shopping for fresh items. Some might see this as a handicap, but I love the idea of choosing what I eat based on what's fresh in the market. Also, that the EU prohibits many of the chemicals used in American food products.
Healthcare that doesn't drive you into bankruptcy.
A unit system that makes sense.
Spaniards have nap time after lunch. We're told it's unnatural to be tired and get 5-hour energy ads shoved down our throats.
It is horrible how many things people see as a luxury that should be human rights. Like affordable healthcare, education, vacation days, abortion rights.
I live in Czech Republic and we can get it for about €2 also.
Yep. Where I live in Spain, the standard price for a glass of wine in a cafe or everyday, non-fancy, equivalent of a diner, restaurant is 80 - €1. In a restaurant I'll usually order a half liter for about €4, that's 2/3 bottle of wine. Soda or water are more expensive. A soda is usually a coffee, and a croissant for €3 is about right here.
Cheap for you, we have a different salary. A croissant for €3 isn't cheap.
Greater than extra pay just for is that paid vacation?
It's amazing to me that healthcare is something us Americans want so bad but never vote for would literally fix so many issues.
My husband, we're Canadian, did his postdoc in Finland. When he was signing his contract they said, you'll get 6 weeks paid vacation and you have to take it. He was shocked. He had friends elsewhere doing postdocs who were doing 14-hour work days, 6 to 7 days a week, no vacation, let alone paid of the years. When he was nearing the end of his cycle, HR reached out and in a panic said, you have days that you have to use, unbeknownst to us. So, we booked a trip for an extended weekend away. I miss that. And it's something we both negotiate when starting new jobs, rather take a bit of a lower salary with more vacation. 1 week after 2 to 3 years in most positions is insanity.
Mediterranean Europe is very different from other parts. I've gone to Spain most years of my life, lived there for 3.5 months last year, and it's as you describe. But I'm also born and raised in London, worked in central London with a train commute. Everyone is very much in a rush. I'd imagine it's similar in some places in Northern Europe too.
At least here in Italy, you are encouraged to take vacation for a simple reason: it's super duper illegal not to take them. And if you do not take them, your employer may face serious requests, may only be denied for important organizational reasons. You might need people trained to do something specific at any time, in hospitals, and if an alternative vacation plan is proposed by the employer.
My boss, in the UK, recently spoke to me about my leave. He said that I hadn't taken a day off in over 4 months, and wanted to remind me to take time. The pandemic, my company also done a few mental health days, so every non-customer facing department got closed for the day so everyone could have a rest. The people in customer facing roles had an additional day of annual leave added to be taken at their will.
If you're Scottish, it's free.
I studied in Italy for 5 years. My yearly tuition payment was €16.
Plus it's Scotland. What's not to love?
Not from the US, but I'm also in a country with unreliable public transportation, and last month I visited Budapest for 4 days and used their public transportation at least 15 times during my stay. Never had to wait more than 10 minutes. Worst delay I saw was like 3 minutes, and not once has a bus or a tram never just showed up. It was great.
This blew me away. Traveling in Europe. Doesn't matter where you are, even if it's some middle of nowhere farm town, you're never far from a train station and you can just hop a train and go anywhere you want. Would love to have that here, but no, we only have rail links between some major cities, and since I live in a more rural area I gotta drive 4+ hours everywhere. In Europe all I had to do was drive 20 minutes to a train station, then just chill on the train for a few hours. It was great.
Oh man, the bread is so amazing and fresh.
The bakery next to my house makes me hate myself because every morning smells so good that I have no choice but to go over and buy. Lived here a year and already gained 28 pounds. It's not much, but it's enough, haha.
Here basically everything is closed for 3 weeks during August and 2 weeks during Christmas. I'm talking about offices and such. We just don't give a if customers want us, they will have to wait like everyone else.
An American friend of ours was gobsmacked that I have a well-paid, head of department level job, don't work unpaid overtime, and get 33 days paid holiday a year, with 8 days public holiday on top.
I am an American who is now living in Sweden and a Swedish citizen, and I will never not be amazed that I have a legal right to 4 continuous weeks of paid vacation during the summer. The legal right. Literally amazing.
Auto reply. Out of the office auto reply. They can and email you when you return.
And without border controls or checkups. I can just sit in a car here in Germany and drive to France, Romania, edit. Comments told me Romania isn't part of Schengen agreement. That's sad, and all the other EU countries. Just realizing I'm in another country because of the traffic signs. Closing parenthesis. Once sat in a train and slept in. After like 30 minutes I woke up, got off the train and realized I'm in Enschede, Netherlands. Living in NRW, so pretty close to the border. I was like okay. Got €50 in my pocket, so I decided to visit a coffee shop and walk a bit through the city until the next train in the right direction arrived. Like I do in every other city while traveling by train.
This is why the hate Americans regularly get for being uncultured or untraveled is so ridiculous. I live in Ireland, at the periphery of Europe, and even from here within 5 hours of flying I can get to about 24 different countries in Europe. Even from where I live within Ireland I probably drive to a few different places like Northern Ireland, Scotland, England or Wales depending on ferry times. In most of the US you can drive for 5 hours and not even get near an international border, sometimes barely even leave the state. On top of that, within the US you can see almost every kind of geographical biome in the world, not all of course, but a lot. In Ireland I can only see one kind of climate and that's it. If I want to see deserts, jungles, forests, lava fields or anything like that I need to travel quite a distance to other countries to see them, so the incentive for me to travel widely is far greater than that for an American. It's honestly such an underrated part of living in the EU, being able to freely travel to about 25 or so different countries with minimum hassle at the drop of a hat. It's absolutely awesome.